Hello folks, I'm basically putting this little disclaimer in front of my video because after all, we're only looking at Ichibaka's video and article here explaining what he thinks about what happened with the Kelly Marie Tran incident and thinking that it's all basically a hoax. These are basically his opinions, and even though I agree with a lot of them, it could still all be just his opinions. But I'm only saying this because I thought I should give you all a heads up on what I think about this. Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about this article about was the Kelly Marie Tran Instagram harassment all a hoax? From everything I've heard and read over the years, as well as reading this article and the video attached to it, it looks like this entire Instagram harassment is a hoax by Disney and others to make a quick buck, as well as steer criticism from Star Wars projects like Solo, a Star Wars story. But let's get into this article. The Legacy Media claims that Star Wars actress Kelly Marie Tran was driven off of Instagram due to racist and misogynist harassment from Star Wars fans. But is that what actually happened? In what may be the biggest hate hoax in history, Data Racer 117 has discovered that Kelly Marie Tran's New York Times op-ed was written and posted on Instagram in November 2017, a full month before The Last Jedi was released. This runs counter to the recent Yahoo Entertainment piece in which they reported Tran was open about the negative reaction she experienced after Star Wars in a candid August 2018 op-ed she wrote for the New York Times titled, "I Won't Be Marginalized by Online Bullying." Looking back, Tran noted the thought that went into the piece. "I think when I wrote the op-ed, which is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, having it go out into the world made me feel so empowered, because I was finally speaking my truth. Yeah, but you canceled your Instagram account, so how are you not marginalizing yourself because of it? Shouldn't you have stayed on it?" That has been brought up to my attention, and I've heard of it before. But yeah, if you're trying to steer away from being marginalized, why delete your Instagram account? From Data Racer 117, go read Kelly Marie Tran's letter to the New York Times about being marginalized by online harassment. It's a straight-up copy of her November 2017 Instagram post, a month before The Last Jedi was released. Kelly Marie Tran. I'm new onto Instagram. I don't know if there are rules. I don't know the etiquette. I do know that I feel weird about posting photos of myself in magazines or made up at events. It's not how I look in my daily life, and I feel weird about perpetrating an ideal that is unattainable. But lately I've been reading the private messages I've been receiving, so many of them address this issue of representation. There are so many of you who have reached out to say it's really nice to see someone who is different. Oh, it's really nice to see someone who looks like me, and then I realized how important it is to allow myself to be seen in all forms, because I want you to know that even if you don't fit the standards of beauty that society has chained us to, you are worthy of love and appreciation. This is the first in a series of photos with annoyingly long captions that I will be posting today. How nice. It basically just sounds like more spin from her article on her op-ed, doesn't it, folks? Kelly's next words are, "We live in a world where we're taught to pick each other apart, bring each other down. We're constantly told by the media what we're supposed to look like. Did you know that sometimes I go to fittings and people don't know how to dress me because I'm a shorter and curvier person? Sometimes when I'm getting ready for events, people don't know how to do my makeup because my eyes are different. People are so used to the norm, they're confused by something different. Whenever I'm in these situations, whenever I feel weird or different or misunderstood, I ask myself one question: am I the crazy one, or is the rest of the world crazy? Okay, I didn't make this question up. I'm an improv technique. Anyway, this is just what I ask myself when I can fit into the size 0, size 2 clothes that are standard at fittings. This is what I ask myself when someone says an offhanded remark about how I look, or when someone is just genuinely confused by my existence. Most of the time I come to the conclusion that the world has taught us that beauty has a very narrow definition, and seeing that while you're growing up is really horrible and really unfair." Kelly then says, it's really difficult to grow up thinking only one type of human is beautiful. It's really horrible to grow up thinking only one type of story deserves being told. I'd be lying if I said I didn't spend my childhood wanting to fit into that narrow definition of beauty. I did, and I don't believe all the answers I can say, only what I believe. And what I believe is this. I believe all women, all people are beautiful. I believe we all have stories to tell. I believe we all have passions and desires, and that we're all searching for our own truth. Whatever that means, I believe our world has done us a disservice. It has taught us to poke fun or steer away from things we do not understand. It's no secret that we are people of different backgrounds with different upbringings. Let's face it, there are things about each other we might not understand right away, and that's okay. Let us approach each other from a place of honesty in this confusion. Let us embrace our differences with love. The world is scary enough. Let us love ourselves and one another. Let us open our hearts and tell our stories. Our stories can open the minds and hearts of people who may not understand us. Our stories can change the world. And we finally reach the final page of Kelly Marie Tran's little article here. And then at the end of the day, when we're all exhausted from changing the world, let's put on our Buzz Lightyear sweaters, wear t-shirts that match our food, and surround ourselves with different types of amazing people. Not everyone I love is pictured here, but I have an amazing support system that has kept me going through all of this. They continue to teach me and inspire me to learn more and be better. I appreciate and love you all. Whoa, okay, I'm tired. Bye, Instagram. And that was Kelly Marie Tran's article for the New York Times, where she explains why she was getting off of Instagram. And, well, from the word salad and the narrative spin, you can pretty much tell this was false from the start. It just sounded too good and too made up. But I'll explain all of this later in the video with some of my own ideas on this. Now, the writer of this article, Ichibaka, made a documentary, and he basically tells you to watch it to learn all of the different details and all of the different people who were responsible for what happened with this Instagram harassment hoax. One of the things he brings up was the incident manufactured by a crisis management firm? Or was the incident concocted to bring down Rebel Force Radio? On that line of thinking, was the incident to obfuscate the tiny vocal minority lie? Was the incident invented in order to smear Legends Canon and its supporters? Did Kelly Marie Tran sign a non-disclosure agreement? See the evidence and decide for yourself. Basically, he tells you watch his video that he nicely compiled, and we'll be going through these points, or rather a great many of them, as I tell you what I think about what happened. Honestly, Ichibaka brings us some good points. It looks like the crisis management firm was brought in to basically do this Instagram harassment hoax, basically to draw fire away from the fact that Solo, a Star Wars story, was bombing in theaters. So basically, Disney sent in this firm to basically divert attention in any way possible. So they made, Kelly Marie Tran look like she was getting harassed off Instagram. Other things that were brought were the fact that certain members of the fan community, and I use the term fan loosely here, namely guys like Jason Ward, were using the whole Instagram harassment incident as a way to, propel their careers. Basically, this guy used it as the grandstand about his ideology and agenda politics, while also being caught red-handed, basically creating a bunch of posts where he was pretending that he was a member of the Star Wars so-called alt-right community. He was basically making posts and pretending to be this guy who was all racist and misogynist and sending out posts and tweets to people so that he could therefore in return make a bunch of posts saying and derading such individuals. Basically, he was creating his own racist comments and basically doing other comments to basically look like he was, all pure and noble in contrast to the guy he was pretending to be. But he was basically caught posting a comment that was no more than 5 minutes old on his own account, and basically it just showed that he was the one who actually made that comment. So basically it didn't take long for people to realize that he was the one making these comments, and that he was only doing this so he could look like he had someone he was fighting against. So people basically turned against him at this point, and he did his best to try and deflect all criticism from himself, but it hasn't really worked. And one of the reasons Jason Ward did this was basically to disparage anyone who was basically trying to protect the EU canon and stuff, all of the old lore that Disney was getting rid of. He was basically accused of basically doing this to get in favor with Disney. So in all, it really looked bad for him after that. That basically covers everything I really wanted to say, so I'll basically end my video here. Leave some comments down below on what you think about the Kelly Marie Tran Instagram incident. And also, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, and I mean that because YouTube is currently doing a subscriber purge and an ad revenue purge, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You, then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere you think it would do the most good, because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. And keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.